So, good afternoon, everyone. Formal welcome, but a very warm welcome to St. Joseph's College School. And this is our music room. And although we don't like to say it's in the basement, it's on the lower level. It actually works because of, it's nicely soundproof, but I think Mr. Serrata has done an excellent job in decorating it. It feels a very welcoming space. So when we were asked to, host the minister coming, I said for sure, absolutely, because I always like to show off our school. It is one of the oldest schools in Toronto. It's an all-girls school. It's 164 years old. Wasn't originally in this building. It's been in a couple of different buildings, but we are very, very proud of our Catholic all-girls school that we have here. I've been principal here for 7 years, and I have been very, very privileged to be part of this wonderful community. So we have quite a lot of very honored guests here today. So obviously the Honorable Indira Naidoo-Harris, who's the Minister of Education, and also the minister responsible for early years and childcare. We also have Joanne Davis, who is our trustee for Ward 9. We have John Shanahan here, who is the superintendent for Area 6. We have Vicki McRae. She's our representative here from the board for the music department. And then we have many, many different representatives, Music Canada and many different organizations. So at this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Joanne Davis to come up to the podium to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure and treat to be here for a couple of reasons. Number one, being the local trustee who represents the school. Number two, I'm actually a St. Joe's girl, so I went to St. Joe's, and so it's great to be representing my alma mater. And St. Joe's is such a fantastic community in the heart of our city, so it's a real treat for me to be able to be here talking about music, something I did as a student. My instruments were cello and piano, a little bit of bass because nobody else could do it, although thankfully I never had to bring it home on the subway, but, but it's a real treat to be here today. I want to thank Helen Lesniak and her entire staff for the warm welcome that you gave everybody, as always, here today. And thank you to Mr. Serrata and his students for sharing their love of music. TCDSB is committed to providing our students with a well-rounded education steeped in Catholic social justice values and offering a diversity of programming that nurtures student success and well-being. While learning math and language are, of course, vital to student success, we also recognize the innate value of arts and music programming. These types of programming not only inspire creativity, but they can also enhance how a student learns other subject areas and also perhaps uncovers hidden talents. Because really, for me, the best part of public education is that students should be getting opportunities to do things, to try out things that they otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to do so. And so if we don't have music programming in schools, there are lots of students who would never have an opportunity to pick up an instrument. So it's really critical in very strong publicly funded education that we've got great arts programming. Research supports the very real connection between music and art and the development of cognitive skills, improved memory, and enhanced self-confidence, which all contribute to student achievement and well-being. We look forward to hearing how the province hopes to further support these programs. And without further ado, I'd like to invite the Honourable Indira Naidoo-Harris, Minister of Education and Minister responsible for early years and childcare, to share the latest news with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne, and very well put, actually, and thank you for that lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. Bonjour, bonjour, Annie. It is so good to be here with you all at St. Joseph's College School. And I have to say, this is the first time I've ever visited this school. I have walked by it many times, but this is a real treat for me to actually get a chance to come here and visit. And it is clear to me that this is absolutely a special school. There seems to be an amazing creative learning environment. I got a glimpse of it just a few minutes ago, but you can get a sense of just what is happening in the school, and it's very clear that it's special because it's all about helping students explore opportunities and reach their full potential and ensure that we are creating pathways for them to do that, and that is happening here. A big thank you, of course, to Principal Lesniak. I don't know where. Oh, there you went. Okay, and the staff and students here for hosting us this morning. And Amy Terrell, very good to have you here, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say later. A special thank thank you, of course, to the music students in Mr. Sarita's class. And what an amazing group of students, and what an experience for me. Believe me, when I go home at the end of the day, I'm going to say to my kids, guess what I did today, right? And I'm going to make sure that I share with them that you all thought I was very talented. But, those young people are what it's all about, right? Not just ensuring that they are on track in terms of the pathways that they are looking at, but that we're actually exposing them to ideas and opportunities that they may not have thought about. So pick up an instrument and try it out and think about whether or not this might be something that you may be interested in doing and perhaps never even thought about doing. But think about the doors that could open. And so I found that the music petting zoo that you set up is a great idea. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be hearing a little bit more about some of those students because they seemed so engaged, so talented, so energized. So I'm sure that they're going to be really moving forward in ways that are going to set them up strongly for life. Before I go any further, I want to acknowledge, of course, that Toronto is located on the traditional territory of many Indigenous peoples, going back countless generations. And I want to show my respect for their contributions in building up what is now Ontario and Canada. Music and art speak a language of their own, but it's a language that all of us understands. It's also a language that research shows can have a real impact on student achievement. In fact, introducing students to music and art at school can have a positive impact on their learning, their brain development, and even their performance at school. But really, it's about unlocking doors, right? And allowing those kids to have the opportunity to be able to walk through those doorways. So no question, including the arts in our education system is vital. Vital if we want to help kids reach their full potential. And so I'm so excited about what we're doing here today. Let's not forget that the arts also play an important role in well-being. This is something that I think over the years we didn't give as much thought to. But I think in today's fast-paced world and demanding world, we're realizing that we need to think more and more about our young people having that opportunity to catch a breath and explore who they are in other ways, and maybe even take a moment to enjoy the outdoors or pick up an instrument or paint something or dance. It is absolutely key to creating and giving our young people the opportunity to be full human beings and really be able to explore that. So earlier this month, I was pleased that our government announced a $21 million investment in arts education as part of our 2018 budget. Now, this is something that not a lot of people heard about, and so I'm really pleased to be here with you all today because sometimes, when you look at a budget, there are various pieces, but sometimes there's a piece that you like particularly, and this is one of those pieces that I feel particularly strongly about. This funding, no question, will have a tremendous impact on the lives of thousands of students and their families, and really can set those young people on a path for success that they had not anticipated before. And this afternoon, I'm pleased to announce that as part of this investment, we will be dedicating $3 million to support Music Canada's innovative musical instrument refurbishment program, or the 3 R's music program. It's about rescuing, restoring, and reuniting. This is such a great program because it expands opportunities for young people to experience music education by improving the inventory of musical instruments available to Ontario's publicly funded schools. It's about giving those young kids access to instruments perhaps that they may not have been able to get access to. And so it's about creating access for all students. So our government is proud to be making this important investment in arts education because at the heart of this investment is the commitment to improving access to arts education to those students who have been traditionally underserved and who really need to have us focus on. And so let me just tell you a little bit about what this means, opportunities that will enrich the lives of these young people now and in the future. Experiences in dance, drama, music, and other forms of art that can enhance opportunities for students to build relationships and social skills and other skills that will make human connections and deepen communication skills. You know, those of us who know a little bit about music and the arts, and I'm sure I don't have to convince anyone in this room about this, have always known the amazing connection that happens with being able to encourage young people to explore other parts of their brains and to develop other parts of their brains. It's not just about the music or the technique involved in performing a piece of art. It is about so much more than that. And when you teach young people or give young people that opportunity, you're really expanding their abilities on so many different levels and absolutely expanding their ability to learn and their ability to think. The arts empower students to be imaginative, flexible, problem solvers, and more confident, self-directed learners. I feel more confident already about being able to play an instrument. And art making is a process requiring both creativity and skill. But it's really about pushing the envelope a bit and ensuring that those young people think outside of the box, right? Just not thinking about what they're sitting and receiving information in a classroom, but also that experiential learning, which is why through our partnership with the Ministry of Advanced Education and Skills Development, we're also leveraging this investment to support the highly skilled workforce. So important. I'd like to tell you that, you know, it's about thoughtful leadership and knowledge and expertise from actually our roundtable on the arts, who we consulted about some of these steps that's really ensuring that we're on the right track. I want you to know we continue to identify and promote opportunities for collaborations and partnerships between the culture and education sectors to increase opportunities for participation in arts and culture and learning through the arts. We also continue to consider ways to support partnerships that would bring together several partners to support Ontario's culture strategy. This is just the beginning. There's so much that can happen, and so many good things happen when we work with our partners. So further allocations of this $21 million investment will support the Ontario Arts Curriculum and will be co-developed with educational partners and arts organizations. All this to say there's more good news to come about some of the things that we'll be doing in the future. I encourage all of you to develop partnerships and collaborations that will support arts education in our communities, because it is through these innovative partnerships that we can create more opportunities for our kids. Our government is, of course, committed to equity for all students. I am. I know everybody in this room is. Through this investment, we're going to ensure that young people, regardless of their backgrounds and regardless of whether or not they can actually afford an instrument, will be able to have that opportunity to develop the invaluable skills critical for student success now and in the future. Skills such as critical creative thinking and innovative problem solving. Our vision is to provide our next generation of students with all of the supports they need to thrive and reach their full potential. And in that sentence, the key word was all students, not just those students who come from families who can afford to expose them to other opportunities. And so this announcement brings us one step closer to achieving this vision. And so I want to thank you all once again for making it out to this announcement, giving me this opportunity to talk to you about something I feel extremely importantly about. And merci, thank you, miigwech. And I'm looking forward to hearing Amy now, Amy Terrell, who's the Executive Vice President of Music Canada. Thank you very much.
There's no double reed in this oboe, so that means I cannot be asked to play it, which is good. Thank you, Minister Naidoo-Harris, so much for being here today and making this announcement possible. And Principal Helen Lesniak, thank you very much. And the trustee Joanne Davis, there's Joanne right in front of me. So thank you so much. I'm privileged to speak today on behalf of Music Canada to express both our appreciation and excitement about today's announcement. on behalf of our president and CEO, Graham Henderson, who deeply regrets that he is unable to be here today, but he's not in the country today. It was impossible. I wish to express my sincere appreciation for the Ontario government's investment in the 3 R's music program, which will put refurbished musical instruments in schools throughout the province. 5 years ago, we first identified music education as one of 5 critical pillars for the development of music in Canada. And since then, we've worked with our partners in this field, including Music Counts and Coalition for Music Education, both of whom have representatives in the room today. We've worked to advocate for quality music education for all youth, no matter where they live or their economic circumstances. RBC actually recently released a report called The Future Economy of Skills after an assessment of 20,000 skills rankings across 300 occupations and 2.4 million expected job openings. The report showed an increasing demand for foundational skills such as critical thinking, coordination, social perceptiveness, active listening, and complex problem solving, among others. And with that, RBC calls for applied arts education and a focus on STEAM versus STEM. People for Education recently confirmed that equitable access to arts and music programs and resources is still an ongoing challenge for Ontario's schools, despite the great efforts of our government, particularly small and rural schools, schools with higher levels of poverty, and schools with lower levels of parental education. So today's investment will help us address this inequity. We will concentrate on one barrier to quality music education, and we fully anticipate this will have a knock-on effect on others. The 3 R's music program, Le Programme Musical des 3 R's, will put more instruments in the hands of students through 3 stages. As the minister mentioned, rescue will gather instruments currently in schools but in need of repair, and donations from communities around the province. Restore will get those instruments into proper working order. And reunite. We'll reunite them with young people. This is one of our first donations. This is my high school oboe, purchased fortunately by my parents, because when I joined LCVI in Lindsay, I wanted to play the oboe, and the oboe in stock was in terrible condition, cracked, couldn't hold a note, and so it certainly wasn't the kind of instrument that I would be inspired to learn on. My parents were able to help me fulfill that ambition, but not all families can. So I'm honored that my instrument, my own one, will make a difference in a child's life once again. But there will be many, many instruments like this very oboe that we're able to restore and reunite with young people. Priority will be given to at-risk and Indigenous youth in our province and to our highest needs schools. And we won't be doing this alone. That's why we have a whole bunch of people in this room, and there could have been others as well. We've already struck agreements with numerous partners and have only just begun to build our team. Through a partnership with Music Counts, and Christy and Marie are in the back, we'll tackle the highest needs schools with a combination of new and refurbished instruments. With Arts Can Circle, Amanda's here in the front, and community elders, of course, will work with Indigenous communities to design a program to suit their specific needs. With the Ontario Music Educators Association and the Coalition for Music Education, represented by Rob, we'll reach schools and educators in every school in the province and every school board. Our members, Sony, Universal, and Warner Music, and we have 3 folks here from Warner, their artist partners, as well as our broader industry partners, will all play an important supporting role. And through an exciting partnership with stakeholders from the Ontario Fire Service, including the Office of the Fire Marshal and the Ontario Professional Firefighters Association, represented by Rob and Mark in the front row, we're going to have a presence in fire halls in communities, large and small, throughout the province when the time comes to gather instruments from the community. And that, we're so excited about that partnership, and we know that that is, that can grow exponentially from this very small beginning. So this really is just the beginning, Minister. Like my oboe, instruments around the province will be rescued from closets and basements where they're gathering dust, from school shelves where they, there isn't enough budget to have them repaired for the school year. They'll be refurbished with care and begin a new life, inspiring young people in our schools. Thank you, Minister Naidoo-Harris. Thank you to St. Joe's for hosting, and please to your government, thank you very much for your support.
We're open to taking any questions that you may have, and I'm asking Amy to stay, just in case you have specific questions about the role of Music Canada. Okay.
Everybody's saying no.
It is a great opportunity for our young people, and just so pleased to be working with wonderful partners like all of you to get this done. And I think it's going to have a real impact on the lives of students, and we'll be able to feel the impact of this across the province. And so I'm actually looking forward to visiting my local firefighter station and maybe seeing the box there, or whatever may be there, where the donations will be collected. So looking forward to that, and I'm sure there will be many communities around the province that will be doing that. Thank you very much. Thank you.